What's up, good people?
What's up, good people, and welcome back to the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Hark Jos, CEO of Sons of SP Phillips, and the Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. So, as we say here, dominate or don't, that is up to you. We are recording live from the Elephant Wisdom Studios, so make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast from whatever podcast platform you're listening from. Also, follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and on Threads at Sons of SPP. Don't forget to follow us at TikTok at SPP Media. We are still trying to motivate and inspire ourselves to go live and dominate that scene and, talk about some of our past and present episodes. We're getting to that point. We're not there yet. This is episode 30, and the month of April is Autism Awareness Month. This episode is focused on understanding, experience, and early support to help people understand autism, support families, and make sure children get the help they need early. Autism Awareness Month started as a push for education and visibility, and it has grown into a global movement focused on acceptance and inclusion. Now, I myself have spent more than 10 plus years working with autistic children and students with special need diagnosis, and I worked in classrooms where patience, structure, and understanding were the foundational tools that we used. Today, I want to honor that work, the people I worked with, honor those children, and give families real information that can help them move forward with confidence. Now, before we do that, this episode is brought to you by Sons of SP Phillips. Inspired by the people, motivated by the culture, visit www.sonsofspphillips.com to shop custom designer t-shirts and apparel and fashion accessories that carry the spirit of our community. Sons of SP Phillips also features an online boutique and thrift store with new and slightly worn designer and name brand clothing for men and women. Quality pieces, curated with intention, and priced for real life. $1 Million style for the $100 man, giving style and attitude a dress code. Sons of SP Phillips. Get up to 70% in savings daily, and orders over $45 gets free shipping. www.sonsofspphillips.com. Tap in, support the movement, and wear something that represents who you are. All right, so let's talk about it. In case you didn't know, Autism Awareness began back in April of 1970 when the Autism Society launched the first national effort to educate the public about autism and support families who are often navigating the diagnosis alone. At that time, autism was widely misunderstood and resources were limited. There was a very heavy stigma, and many children were either going undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Fast forward from that up to 1988, President Ronald Reagan issued a national proclamation recognizing April as a month dedicated to developmental disabilities. Now, this helped bring more visibility to autism and related conditions. Over the years, advocacy groups, educators, clinicians, and autistic individuals themselves pushed this movement forward. The focus expanded from simple awareness to acceptance, inclusion, and now understanding. There are public figures who have helped reduce stigma by openly discussing their diagnosis. Celebrities such as Anthony Hopkins, Bella Ramsey, Dan Aykroyd, Wentworth Miller, Susan Boyle, and Clay Marzo have spoken publicly about their autism. Elon Musk of Tesla and SpaceX has also announced that he has Asperger's syndrome while hosting an episode of Saturday Night Live in 2021. He has shared that his neurodivergent affects how he communicates and focuses, but it has also contributed to his success. Now, their openness shows that autistic individuals are present in every field, whether that field be entertainment, music, sports, art, and more, and that autism is a different way of processing the world. It's not a limitation. Autism Awareness Month continues to grow because families, educators, and advocates want children to be understood early, supported consistently, and given a chance to thrive. Now, as we move forward, we need to understand that there are different types of autism. But before the DSM-5 updated the terminology back in 2013, autism was divided into several categories. Even though these labels are no longer clinically used, many families, educators, and adults on the spectrum still use them to kind of describe their experiences. And now understanding these terms help people recognize how broad the spectrum truly is. So first we have classic autism or autistic disorder, which involves a significant language delays, social challenges, and repetitive behavior. There's Asperger's syndrome, which describes individuals with strong verbal skills but challenges with social interaction, sensory processing, and restricted interests. PDD-NOS, pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. This is used when a child shows some characteristics of autism but didn't meet all criteria for classic autism or Asperger's. Childhood disintegrative disorder, or CDD, a rare condition where a child loses previously acquired skills, language, motor abilities, and social functioning after at least 2 years of typical development. Next is Rett syndrome, a genetic condition that affects girls almost exclusively, involving a loss of functioning skills and motor abilities, and it used to be listed under the autism umbrella. High functioning autism, HFA. Now, this is not a medical term, but often used to describe autistic individuals who are verbally fluent and have average or above average intelligence while still needing support in social or sensory areas. The last is Fragile X syndrome. Now, this is a genetic disorder that can include autism-related behaviors, intellectual disabilities, and sensory challenges. These categories show how wide the autism spectrum is and why every child's needs are different. For families who want more information, the Mayo Clinic has a clear and reliable overview. Visit mayoclinic.org and search autism spectrum disorder for more information. Now, my experience with working with children on the spectrum comes from real classrooms, real children, and real challenges. I worked in a school where many of our students were bussed in from other schools because their previous environments couldn't meet their academic or emotional needs. A percentage of them came from impoverished or abusive backgrounds. They weren't just behind academically, they were navigating emotional wounds, instability, and environments that didn't give them the space to feel safe. A lot of our students struggle with self-esteem, self-awareness, and trust, and some didn't know how to express what they were feeling. Some didn't know what safety looked like because they had never experienced it consistently. Beatty Park Elementary here in Columbus, Ohio, we worked together, teachers, support staff, and auxiliary programs to give these children what they needed. We taught them how to use the words, how to communicate clearly, and how to take responsibility for their behavior. We had behavior modification programs that included music, art, physical fitness, and other activities that helped them express themselves, regulate their emotions, and build confidence. My role was to support instruction, help create opportunities for students to shine, and assist with communication and emotional development. In my time there, I learned how to read behavior as a communication. I learned how to slow down and meet the children where they were, and I learned that structure, respect, and consistency can change everything. Beatty Park Elementary deserves recognition. The work done in that building was powerful, the staff showed up with heart and love, and the children showed brilliance that the world didn't always see. And when you give a child the right environment, they will show you exactly who they are. The reason why autism awareness still matters is because awareness is not about labeling children, it's about understanding them. It helps to recognize developmental differences early. It reduces shame around diagnosis, it opens the door to support and resources, and it creates environments where autistic children can thrive. Awareness leads to acceptance, acceptance leads to access, and access leads to opportunity. So what I've learned working with autistic children has taught me lessons that stay with me today. Number one, behavior is communication. Every child processes the world differently. Trauma and autism can look similar but come from different places. Consistency helps children feel grounded. Visual support and sensory breaks make a real difference. Children grow when adults understand them instead of trying to fix them. Now, these lessons came from daily interactions and not anything from a textbook. Some early signs a parents may notice, and now parents, you need to understand, it's not your job to diagnose anything. You just need to pay attention to some patterns to help your child out. Number one, delayed or limited speech, repeated phrases without using them to communicate, limited eye contact, difficulty with transitions, sensory sensitivities, intense focus on specific interests, not responding to their name, and challenges with social play. Now, these signs don't automatically mean your child has autism. They simply mean the child may need evaluation or support. And if you're noticing delays or differences in your child's development, here are some practical steps. Number one, talk to your pediatrician. Request an early intervention evaluation if your child is less than 3 years of age. Ask your school district for a developmental assessment if they're over 3 years of age. Definitely document anything that you're seeing. Do not wait for a child to grow out of it. Seek support early. Support doesn't change who your child is. It helps them access the world in a way that works for them. In closing, Autism Awareness Month is a reminder to slow down and understand the children around us. Autistic children are not broken. Autistic children have their own way of learning and responding, and they deserve support that matches their needs. They deserve patience, respect, and environments that can let them shine. Personally, I've seen what happens when a school commits to that. I've seen children grow, communicate, and surprise everyone around them. This episode honors them, honors educators who showed up for them, and gives families real information that make a difference. This is the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. I am your host, Hark Jos, CEO of Sons of SP Phillips, and the Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. So dominate or don't, that is up to you. I want to thank you for listening. Let's keep building awareness, acceptance, and understanding, not just in April, but all year long. And while you're doing that, please continue to pray along the way.